The Bitcoin Group, the American original. For over the last 10 seconds, the sharpest Satoshis, the best Bitcoins, the hardest cryptocurrency talk. We'd like to welcome our panelists, Martine Wismayer from General Bytes.
Welcome, guys.
Alejandro De La Torre from Poolin.
Howdy ho.
Dan Eve, the Crypto Raptor.
All right.
Josh Shigala from Voltoro.
Well, howdy there, folks.
And I'm Thomas Hunt from the World Crypto Network. Moving on to Issue 1. Issue 1. As much as $365 billion with a B dollars wiped off cryptocurrency market after Tesla stops car purchases with Bitcoin. Tesla CEO Elon Musk tweeted that the electric vehicle maker would suspend car purchases using Bitcoin, citing environmental concerns. As much as $365 billion was wiped off of the cryptocurrency market. Although it did pair some losses, Bitcoin, Ether, and XRP are all sharply lower. Musk said that Tesla will not be selling any Bitcoin, and intends to use it for transactions as soon as mining transitions to more sustainable energy. I suppose that's the question we'll start with right there. Martine, when will mining transition to more sustainable energy?
Once green electricity is cheaper than excess coal. I'm not too worried about Elon Musk, to be honest. This just a rant and raves of a madman. You know, he says he's worried about the environment. I think he's really worried about his carbon credits, to be honest. And he gets lots of subsidies for building cars. It's not that he makes money out of building them. He just gets lots of subsidies. And since when is he concerned about the environment? Have you seen the smoke those rockets turn out? So I think there is more energy wasted with every launch, which will probably never reach Mars. But then all the bitcoins he mines. So I think we shouldn't give the guy the attention. It was nice while it lasted, and now it's bye-bye Elon, just like we did in the past with other famous Bitcoiners, which no longer, they fell out of grace. So it's same thing for Elon. It's I do advise people to cancel their Cybertruck order because it's probably not going to be a good first model. So yeah.
Some have compared what Elon's doing to Roger Ver. What do you think, Martine? Would you go that far?
I said I didn't name any names. I just said people that fell out of grace in the Bitcoin community. I don't want to point fingers at anyone.
Very good. Very good. Alejandro, what did you think about Elon's announcement? It's pretty clear he doesn't do any research.
Most clearly, that's exactly true. So a lot of the mining going on right now, I know since I run the second largest Bitcoin mining pool along with the team, most of the mining that's occurring right now already uses green electricity, renewable electricity, mostly hydroelectric power plants. There's, for example, in Europe and Iceland, that's one of the largest mining places in the world, and it's geothermal, 100% geothermal, so 100% renewable. China, almost 90% of all the mining right now is now in the Sichuan region because the rainy season has begun in China, so they call it the Great Miner Migration. That's all being powered by hydroelectric power plants. 60 to 65% of the electricity the mining occurs in China. So already you see 60 to 65% of the mining from China is green at this very moment. And you got other places, North America, a lot of the mining occurs also in hydro. And there's also methane capturing methods, such as in Texas, where instead of flaring the methane that is being generated by oil power plants, these very smart entrepreneurs are connecting machines that convert the methane gas into electricity to power Bitcoin mining. So that's a net zero gain. That's actually taking away carbon gases away from the environment, from the ecosystem. So yeah, this it's a very, very I'm not too sure what the reason he is, but it's not very well thought out for sure.
Dan Eve, the Crypto Raptor, Go ahead.
Well, it's interesting that obviously he's U-turned since, even was it end of April, mid-April, that Jack was tweeting about the Square report with it was Square and ARK Invest that was saying that Bitcoin's, actually quite a lot of its renewables and that it's going to be a driver of the future that, incentivizes renewable energy. And Elon actually, tweeted true about that. But so, yes, it's interesting to see him U-turn, but I think the carbon credits is obviously a hot topic. He also recently tweeted, I think it was today, actually, he tweeted, it's high time that there was a carbon tax. So he's probably in this camp that's like, I can put rockets, but I can just pay for trees, and it kind of counterbalances it, which, they're obviously got some money to gain from being a green company and doing the green thing, green shareholders, etc. And there's obviously a lot of, in the news, there's always a lot of FUD and stick about Bitcoin, consuming the world's electricity and boiling the oceans and yada yada yada. Interestingly, the Telegraph was shilling a coin that I've never heard of called Chia. They're like, it was all over the side on Twitter. It was like Chia, blah blah blah. Elon and Tesla, dumping Bitcoin or not accepting anymore. But maybe there's this Chia that's growing. It's really green and blah blah blah. And it sounds like yes, to be honest. Difficulty recently was like 25 trillion. So there's obviously a lot of mining going on. But I think that it does incentivize green electricity because it makes it so much more competitive. If you've got the cheapest electricity, you've got the cheapest, the biggest profit margins for your Bitcoin mining. We'll see. Maybe Tesla will actually, start accepting Dogecoin, maybe. And in fact, even one of my friends said, aren't they assessing? Aren't Tesla assessing Dogecoin? And maybe from some sort of funny rumor, obviously a rumor. And I was like, well, at the end of the day, it's still script mined. So if it becomes very much more profitable, become much more competitive to mine, and therefore the electricity requirement will go up, and blah 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 blah. So it's going to suffer the same issue that Bitcoin would anyway, if you see it as an issue. But it's going to drive a lot of innovation. There's loads of companies moving to green tech, and as Alejandro had a great rundown of some things that are happening at the moment. So now I think it's highlighting that and prompting companies to come forward and be a bit more green, and that will only help turn people sooner than they would have otherwise done.
Well, if he uses the same research department he did to decide on Bitcoin, he'll have no problem deciding on Dogecoin. Josh Segala, your thoughts?
I'm just dumbfounded. Like, how can you be so short-sighted? Like, the guy's extremely smart, but I don't think he has much time. And so he relies on people telling him what to do and what to say. And I feel like he uses Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as his sort of way of manipulating some sort of market, because not manipulating, but steering, maybe put it, some sort of market for shits and giggles. But Alejandro put it perfectly. You need to find, to mine Bitcoin effectively, you need to find cheaper and cheaper sources of energy. And it's wonderful. Humans should be using more energy, not less. We need more energy. It's just we need better energy, cleaner energy. And this heads us into a market that finds that cheaper energy, better energy, cleaner energy. Because at the end of the day, the cheapest energy you can get is the energy that's in the earth. We're sitting on a boiling hot ball of lava. Like, there can't be anything cheaper than that. So it's ludicrous to think that it's going to stop. But Martin, you stole the words right out of my mouth. It's exactly what I was going to say about the rockets and the constant. Sometimes you think, okay, this is for the greater good to put rockets into space for a larger vision. And the amount of electricity it costs is also for the greater good to have a free and open source monetary system, rather than the amount of, we've mentioned it ad nauseum on the show as well, is that the amount of energy it takes to run the legacy financial system also costs an arm and a leg full of energy. So it's a weird thing to do. I kind of feel like maybe they're trying to buy more, and it's a nice little dump. I did hear that he put out a tweet. I didn't read it, but something like, is there any way I can help Doge make it more efficient or something like that? There's something like that. So maybe they'll end up like forking to a proof of stake or something. I'm not sure, but we proof of work is an absolutely stunning thing. Yeah, sure. It's weird. It's weird when you think about it, that we're just trying to solve puzzles at ridiculous levels right now. But those ridiculous levels are there to secure a ridiculous amount of money. $1 trillion worth of market cap is being locked up and being secured by this power, by this. So it's definitely not being wasted. And there's plenty of cases to be made that buying a Tesla is actually worse for the environment than running your old car into the ground. There's so many false economies in the green movement. I'm an old greenie. I definitely don't want to live on a planet that's being fucked over by humans and destroyed, and the oceans absolutely decimated and overfished and all the rest of it. We all want to do good things for the planet, but there's certain things in this world where the companies run on this sort of greenwashing nonsense, where they feed you this stuff that sounds good to the ear, but it's not. But when you look at the numbers and the data, it just doesn't match up. And I fear that Elon's just sort of, I don't know, it's tweeting out stuff at random, and I don't. It's kind of like China FUD. It's like China banned Bitcoin. China's now not banned Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It's sort of, I think in a few weeks' time, it'll be like, you know what? This single dealer actually still takes Bitcoin or whatever. I don't know. I mean, Tesla don't have dealers, but you know what I mean? It's I don't care. Elon can go screw himself.
Or Elon he comes up with some news that Tesla have got the most green energy ever and they've saved Bitcoin. Maybe he's going to try and be like a Bitcoin messiah.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of things you can do, including all this NFT stuff is kind of interesting to maybe trade carbon and stuff, if you're right into that sort of thing. But I don't think that trading carbon is the right way to go, because somebody issues the carbon, which is basically printing money out of thin air, and we're back to a fiat carbon nonsense that the governments basically print out of thin air and give to their mates, and then allow them to trade it. It's all a scam. It's an utter scam. It's a government pre-mine.
Well, the worst part about this is that it breaks Elon Musk's image. Everyone on the internet wants to believe that Elon Musk is a nerd and that he's our friend, and that he built X.com and he built PayPal and he's building SpaceX and he's building Tesla and the Boring Company and all of these things because he's your friend and he's smart like you. But now I'm not so sure. Maybe he was too busy preparing for Saturday Night Live to read about Bitcoin, but this Bitcoin environmental information was available before Tesla accepted Bitcoin. It didn't change after they accepted Bitcoin. Sure, he helped make Bitcoin more popular. He helped drive it up in the media and all those things. And maybe he could say, yeah, I made it so popular that people ended up burning more fossil fuel. But it just opens up all of these environmental attacks on Tesla. It opens up the internet to disliking him, which may be more important than he thinks. I know he thinks he's bulletproof and invincible and he has all the money and all these things. But it just seems we have to now look at his motives. I agree with what Josh said. Buying an electric car is probably worse for the environment than just using existing cars. We have so many cars. Does Elon Musk's goal of leaving the planet align him with the rest of the human race, or put him in his own category of perhaps supervillain genius where he's just looking to take resources from Earth? He doesn't care about the environment. He doesn't care about the Earth. He doesn't care about society. He's not trying to fix anything here on Earth. He just wants to go to Mars. Martine, what do you think? Is Elon Musk part of the human race, or is he part of Team Elon Musk?
You're on mute.
Unmute. I muted you there.
Sorry about it. I don't think Elon will be going to Mars, as he stated in his own words. People will die. Basically, the first people will die. So Elon will not be going to Mars as the first people. So I think it's like building skyscrapers. You know, you put a rocket into space. If you have a lot of money, this is your thing you do. You know, but I don't know. I found the information Alejandro gave very, very valuable. It's hard to find those statistics, and I think, you know, hearing it straight from the horse's mouth is excellent. I think this is very valuable information. It's you know, I really got past the whole Elon thing after I saw the Bitcoins going up again, but this is nice, and it's good to have this data to combat any energy FUD coming our direction, because we will get more of that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're right. So that's I'm working on doing some good research and sending out some good data on this right now to kind of use it against the mainstream media punks who are coming our way. So I'm getting the arsenal ready for the war.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like one of these things that they could just, you know, it takes 0 brain cells to run towards people with this sort of nonsense. Because you hear stats like the easiest thing to say is Bitcoin uses the same amount of energy as Taiwan or whatever, and then that's just like, what? Wow. And then someone else will say something ridiculous like, every time you make a Bitcoin transaction, it costs this much energy. And first of all, that doesn't make any sense, because it's using that much energy whether you send the transaction or not. But yeah, with this massive army of idiots running around repeating, and this world is made of repeaters. We've got a society of repeaters, because you get further in school, you get further in university when you can repeat something well. It's not when you can think of for yourself. It's like when you can repeat what the teacher said, you get an A. That's fantastic. So we've got this world of repeaters that are fantastic. And people that think for themselves, free thinkers or logical thinkers, first of all, they're very rare, because it's not, you know, rewarded. It's rewarded if you can repeat, and this is what's happening, is that people just repeat the same nonsense garbage all the time. And so it's really, really great to hear stuff and research from Alejandro about the actual statistics, and hopefully they'll repeat that.
It was pretty amazing to see how many newspapers and magazines quickly launched an article saying how bad Bitcoin was for the environment just because Elon Musk made this decision. A few weeks ago, Elon Musk tweeted something at Jack saying that he agreed with Jack that Bitcoin could be made from renewable energy, that there was other options, that it wasn't so black and white and cut and dry. But I guess he forgot about that. It was a few weeks ago. Dan, Eve, your thoughts on Elon Musk?
I think I already gave some, but the one thing I will add is that Jackson Palmer, who's turning in his meme right now, he said Elon Musk it has and always will be a self-absorbed grifter. And then he said, removing this in 1 minute, as that's all I've got to say, and enjoy the quiet life. But yeah, interesting that, you know, we were joking like a while back about Dogecoin base, but now it's going to be Dogecoin base. But, you know, in fairness, you know, banking stocks are a joke, and as are many others. So yeah, it's funny how, you know, everyone was kind of behind Elon, and when he was positive about Bitcoin, but he knows the score. I think we all know that there's monetary sort of reasons why he's doing this, whether he even just wanted to mess with everyone and be like, you know, in the background have a load of like a non-shorting accounts and just short the hell out of it, you know, just for the sheer hell of it. But you never know. But it does seem like his arm was probably twisted. You know, they know that they're going to get they've got enough crap to deal with, like by putting rockets into the atmosphere, especially if they want to do the kind of, you know, New York to London in a SpaceX rocket sort of thing. So They're probably just trying to keep it clean, or is using that as an excuse. But there's definitely some other financial reasons why they'll be, they're holding off for now. At the end of the day, the good point is that they're hodling, I suppose. So
they'll be pulling off a Jamie Dimon where he's just fudding it, driving down the price and buying more. That's also it's totally in the realms, because he isn't being attacked by the SEC for this sort of behavior. Whereas if he does this with Tesla, he's taken a court and he's fined. So yeah,
I agree. It could be either one. It could be he just likes messing with markets and he gets in trouble when he messes with the stock market. So he's having really lots of fun messing with these other markets. It could also be like Martin said, where he has some kind of a carbon credits thing coming up. He's got some government loan he needs to get, and he can't be accepting dirty Bitcoin if he's going to try to get the government loan. But I just think he's a huge hypocrite for not doing any research and for continuing to hold Bitcoin. Like, it's okay. You crashed the market. Like, you could have sold the top, or you could have waited till after his announcement and then spoken and then sold his Bitcoin, taken a loss like everyone else. But instead, he's having it both ways. Tesla says Bitcoin's too dirty to accept, but it's clean enough to hold. It doesn't make any sense. It's a half measure. It looks bad. I hope he doesn't get his environmental loans or whatever. Hope the government takes him down. Yeah. I mean, and what about Twitter? Did you guys have any fun on Twitter as Twitter turned into the Elon Musk hate society, at least on crypto Twitter? But then on the rest of the Twitter, all the, let's call them civilians or normal people or whatever you want to say, they were all like, this is great. Bitcoin's bad for the environment, and Tesla realized it and they're coming back. I saw more just the bad decision-making, lack of research, wishy-washiness. This is a major company. If they're going to accept Bitcoin, they should do a little research on it beforehand. These environmental issues, Josh says we talk about this every week. I mean, everyone's talked about this environmental issue. It was not a secret. And then for them to just change their mind, like, I think it looks really bad. I don't know. I doubt the whole company now. I don't know if I'd want to get on a SpaceX rocket. What did you guys think of crypto Twitter? Martin, did you see any good stuff besides, of course, Jackson Palmer?
The thing is, I'm on Twitter. I'm in my own bubble. I just get the news related to crypto, and it's all Elon bad, canceled my Tesla Cybertruck order, all this type of news. I didn't see a single positive, good on you, saving the environment. I didn't see that because I don't follow those people. And if I would probably block them.
It was pretty great to see everybody change their minds so suddenly. Alejandro,
proof of stake shills came out as well, and the kind of, and I think Nano pumped on the news. Like, there were people, they jumped on the opportunity to be like, oh, he's probably accepting Nano. All the shill masters got involved, and everyone got their proof of stake coins out. And on there, on Elon's tweet, there was all the, oh, did you know that my coin's green? And oh, did you know that this coin's green? And blah 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 blah. So we don't use anything in the environment. So yeah, it was definitely a massive shilling opportunity for non-proof of work coins. But yeah, they'll understand eventually.
He's really elevating the conversation. I'm glad that he's here to add this to our community. Alejandro, what do you think of Twitter's reaction to Elon Musk?
I don't care what the reaction was, but what I do care is that he's made it. He's kind of put this this narrative to the forefront, which sucks for people that are working the mining side of things. Well, I mean, it's inevitable that we're going to have to work or combat the narrative of it, destroying, boiling the oceans. But Elon just accelerated that by a couple of years, I guess. So it was kind of shitty. But I don't care what Elon said. I don't care what Elon does.
Well, we talk about these environmental issues almost every week here. And again, it's just because it's so easy to make a rough estimate of how much energy Bitcoin uses. You just take a couple numbers and multiply them together and you're a genius, right? But if you want to go see how much energy the bank system uses, how much energy the Federal Reserve uses, it's so complicated. There's all these different inputs and you have to judge how much is a building worth of people worth, how much is 1,000 ATMs or 10,000 armored trucks and all of this stuff. It gets really complicated. It's not just like multiplying a couple numbers together. So there's a fallacy there where it's easy to calculate. Therefore, they focus on it because they don't want to do any real work or real research.
Come on, someone out there do the research.
Yeah, it's a good point. Good point.
It's too hard. No one's going to do it. Josh Shigala, what do you think about crypto Twitter's reaction?
I'm the same. I don't give a shit. Fucking...
Everybody's canceling their Teslas, no Cybertrucks. Man, it's just a sad group. I don't know.
Have you driven your Tesla since?
yeah. I still love my Tesla.
Every mile it says Bitcoin is bad. Bitcoin is bad. Bitcoin is bad. It's like all that. But
no, I just don't care. I just don't care about cult of personalities, like this whole sort of cult of personality that he's got around himself, and people worship him, and I mean, I definitely look up to the fact that he's runs 4 companies. Like, how the hell does he do that? I think he's, I mean, in a way, I look up to him, but I also think, oh, what a weird, bad dad he must be, because like, how can you possibly be a good father and run that many companies? Like, so also probably a jerk. So I don't know. I mean, whatever. He's a guy, and this whole cult of personality stuff, it doesn't resonate with me. I'm not into it.
I wouldn't trust him with a house plant. But it was neat to see everybody make all their Elon memes and celebrate him as if he was the hero of Bitcoin. Meanwhile, the other alleged hero of Bitcoin, Michael Saylor, stayed true, made another purchase, put out more good videos, stuck by his beliefs and his research about Bitcoin being good. So good on you, Michael Saylor. You survived the first round. We'll see about some of the later rounds, especially you're bored. When you're bored, when Bitcoin goes down 70%, your board's really mad. That's what we'll wait for, Michael Saylor.
That'll be fun.
We'll be back for you. Moving on to issue 2, Taproot. Bitcoin's mining difficulty has hit a new high, and Taproot is beginning its second signaling attempt. While the price of Bitcoin may be down, mining difficulty has never been higher. That means you'd need more computers and stronger computers to mine Bitcoin, because so many people are actively mining Bitcoin. We're also talking about Taproot. Taproot is an upgrade that outfits Bitcoin with new signature and scripting schemes that allow for cheaper, more flexible multi-signature transactions, among other things. Taproot will also pave the way for improvements to Lightning, multi-signature wallets, and perhaps even Bitcoin-based smart contracts. So maybe we'll see some Bitcoin ICOs or DAOs or Ethereum type objects on Bitcoin. Alejandro, what do you think about the Taproot situation? And I've seen your tweets many times. Are the mining pools supporting it? Will this get activated?
Yeah. So as I've been kind of working closely with I've been not kind of, but I've been working very closely with the mining pools across the industry and gaining their interest. And a couple of months back with Taproot activation. Now what I'm doing is assisting them to update their nodes. Not me only, but
Did we lose Alejandro? All right. We'll see if we can get him to reconnect. But Alejandro and
He's frozen in paradise.
I think this, yeah.
All right.
My internet's super slow. Sorry, guys.
Anything else on this, Alejandro? I think you're back.
Yeah, sorry, guys. My internet's super slow. I'm in Costa Rica on the beach, so as you can imagine, it's very bad. The signaling is taking time. Each mining pool has lots of nodes. The nodes require time to update. There's some firmware issues from some mining rigs that did not allow for signaling, which would cause some issues with the pool. So we had to contact the firmware company and help them fix it, which we did. We fixed it for them, actually. So after that, it's Binance pool to signal by Sunday. And I expect BTC.com to fully signal by the end of this week or weekends. But the rest of the pools most of the pools over 1% of the global hash rate are already signaling fully, including Poolin. and AMP pool, which is a Bitmain pool, which is a very very good thing. I expect it might not happen in this difficulty adjustment epoch. It might not happen in these 2016 blocks because the signaling needs to occur in 2016 blocks in a difficulty adjustment epoch. I'm not too sure it's going to happen in this one, but it doesn't matter. We'll get it on the next one for sure. All right, that's my. I'm very confident it will happen soon.
Fantastic. So it's not a UASF situation. The miners are
It's
not.
a MA. It's a MASF.
Miner activated soft fork. Dan E, Crypto Raptor, are you excited for Taproot?
I am, and it's going to bring. I think smart contracts will allow for like the kind of decentralized lending options that you've seen booming on Ethereum, like that whole DeFi space, and the ability to actually borrow against your Bitcoin and lock it into this, that, and the other without having to peg with ETH. And a dirty other chain. So I think it's got some obviously general privacy and scalability security improvements. There's a cool site called Taproot.watch. Which allows you to track the current progress. And it was actually, so in the time of writing my show notes, it was 57.87, which is about 5 minutes before the show. And it's already 59 because I was very last minute writing notes, you see, 59.31%. So it's gone up a couple of percent. So, it may make it, but it's, as Alejandro said, it was, it may not, but it will fit into the next the next 2016 blocks. But yeah, I think that combined with Schnorr signatures is going to bring some really good benefits to the ecosystems in terms of scalability and security. There you go. Much anticipated. Again, it's not contentious because it's not a hard fork. So it's not hardcore like
click on mining pools.
Go to mining pools.
Yes,
Matt Bitcoins. You can screen share again.
Yeah,
here we go.
Click on mining pools. And
there you go. At 60%.
Yeah.
As you can, I can explain it. So
amazing.
See, as you can see, BTC.com has only signaled 5 the last 23 blocks they mined in this epoch. That means that they're like slowly upgrading their nodes. So I expect this morning it was only 2, so they've already signaled 3 extra blocks. I think they're still having issues with upgrading. They told me they were having some technical issues. But I expect them to be fully set by the end of this week, maybe next week. Binance Pool told me on Sunday that by Sunday they will be fully signaling. Let's hear, let's hope. I mean, Binance does what Binance wants. So, I'm just a messenger here. And the one that I'm a bit concerned about is BTC Top. They haven't signaled. They did mention to me that they were okay with Taproot when I was working on taprootactivation.com. I mean, if anyone listening here knows anyone at BTC Top, then please ask him. The CEO's name is Jian Yuer, Chinese gentleman. We should pressure BTC Top if we can, because I don't know why they haven't said anything. They haven't talked to me. I've contacted them through all my resources, and they haven't said anything. So we have to pressure them. But I don't think they will go against the grain. I think it's just a matter of time. I mean, they're not gonna be the only one. And if they are the only one that's not signaling for Taproot, it literally takes a miner 5 minutes max to switch pools. So I assume. And no, actually, I'm pretty certain, 100% certain, that a lot of miners will switch to pools that are signaling if they don't play the game. So it will be kind of a mini UASF in the MASF.
Nice.
So 60% seems pretty good. Is there a threshold? Does it have to get to 75 or 90%? Does it lock in? Does it have to be 100%?
Correct. Yeah, it has to be at 90% to lock in. And the reason why I say we might not hit in this difficulty epoch is because there has to be a certain amount of the percentage needs to hit, and there's only a set amount of blocks. So there's like a point where if there's not enough blocks, it won't hit. But nonetheless, if all the pools switch now in this difficulty epoch, then the next one it will switch. It will reach the threshold without a problem. So we have to pressure them. Again, I don't think it's much of a issue, because if BTC, let's say, I don't know, I'm not sure. This is just it's not me saying that BTC top won't do it, but if they don't, let's say, then yeah, miners can easily switch to, and I do want to say that should be something you should consider as a miner if you're listening. If the pool is not pushing for Taproot, switch to someone else. Pool in, of course, I would pick, but of course, there's all these other pools that they can choose from.
Alejandro, do mining pools need to switch off to like turn that switch on?
Yeah.
That they're signaling? Is this what
Yeah.
the big problem is?
Yeah, there has to be a reset of all the nodes basically, and then there's some firmwares that don't recognize the signal, which will then knock them off the pool. So there are some small issues that we fixed the firmware issue that was like the most widely used that had this issue. Of course, there might be some firmware that we don't know of that has another issue from another pool. Maybe that's what's going on now at BTC top. So I can't really say what's going. I don't know what's going on. I mean, I'm in contact with them, but they, that's their operations, and they don't tell me that. But yeah, that's how it works. You have to upgrade the nodes, and then you have to turn them off and on.
Yeah.
Reset.
So people are scared of, once they do that, then there might be an energy spike. They blow out some sort of problem out that side, and then there's
no, but the miners don't need to do anything. This is the mining pool.
The
nodes.
see.
So yeah, the miners don't need to. The miners, if you're a miner listening to this right now, and a pool starts signaling for Taproot, don't worry, your pool will continue its operations without a doubt. And if you're hesitant, switch to a pool that's already signaling.
Go for pooling.
Well, and respect to BTC top. I hope they start signaling, and maybe if the internet asks them nicely, they'll get to it. But again, let's be polite. Let's welcome them in. This is a chance for us to all work together. I think it feels much less contentious than the last time.
Yeah.
Josh Shigala, your thoughts on this?
Oh man, anytime there's a soft fork, I just start getting excited, because I think this is really what Bitcoin's. I just love seeing this decentralized protocol having to work together to decide on an upgrade that we're all happy with. And Taproot is definitely something very, very cool. The thing is that you have to be fairly technical to understand what the benefits are. I think Dan put it well when he said, "Oh, look, you can run some smart contracts and do some DeFi stuff on Bitcoin. That'll be pretty dope." But I think the size of the blocks will help the block size as well, especially with Schnorr. I think there's a whole bunch of stuff that's coming. Gregory Maxwell is the one that's sort of pushing this, and I've always looked up to that guy. I think he's a really, really clever part of the entire ecosystem, and anytime he's pushing something like this, it's got to be good.
Martin, your thoughts on Taproot activation?
I'm not too worried. As Alejandro said, I'm not too worried that it will not happen or anything. The previous time we had an upgrade to the network that was with SegWit, turned out to be a big disaster. But that was primarily, in my opinion, because there were financial benefits of not upgrading. There was ASIC boost at the time, and that was like becoming difficult to do with SegWit. So it makes sense now that everybody is on board. It's a good upgrade for the network, and more people using it. It will not be any missed revenue for miners. So there's no real reason for them not to do it, except that it takes a bit of work. And I'm personally very excited. As Josh said, I'm all like, oh, upgrade. It's like, there's not that many upgrades on the Bitcoin network. So when there is an upgrade, I'm like all excited. I read some articles by Aaron van Weerden. He always does nice write-ups and more like technical, the benefits of this, because I do think the enhanced privacy features are severely overhyped. Some of the people I met from the community, they think that this upgrade will turn Bitcoin into some sort of Monero, which is just not the case. So it will help, multi-signature type of transactions.
It makes multi-signature more private.
Correct, but also putting some funds in your Lightning wallet is supposed to be more private, from what I understood. It might be wrong, but so yes, any upgrade for Bitcoin is good news. I don't mind at all that it takes some time. There's a lot of money involved, and I'd rather thread carefully and make no mistakes than go the Ethereum route and just run fast and break things and just roll back the entire chain if it doesn't work. So I do like the approach. I think the input from Alejandro is really valuable. If people at home want to have a look, do look again. The website we just looked at is taproot.watch. And the pool with all the page with all the miners is just the miners option, in the top navigation menu. Very interesting, super exciting. I even dream about the green blocks now, so I can't wait for this thing to get activated. So yeah.
One more question, Dan, Eve, you've got a Doge in your background. Will Dogecoin be activating the Taproot upgrade?
They activate SegWit, right? So I think it wouldn't surprise. But in fact, haven't they stopped have they stopped coding for it?
Litecoin did.
Oh, Litecoin did. Dogecoin's just been static from the start, right? It's still on the old Bitcoin QT wallet, and that's it.
I think the last thing they did is they moved it over to be merged mined with Litecoin, because it would be attacked.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, well, I don't know. I think it wouldn't surprise me if there was a fork of it, right? That ended up, a green fork that maybe Musk commandeers or something crazy like that, and he kind of rides into the blockchain world on riding 2 Shiba Inus on I don't know, with Taproot activated, but maybe not.
It was great to see on Twitter Musk had talked about fixing Dogecoin, and Adam Back himself wrote back explaining that the coin was a joke, that it hadn't been worked on in 3 years, and that Bitcoin was substantially better. It's I don't know, Elon Musk used to be this untouchable person. Then he promoted Dogecoin, went on Saturday Night Live, and betrayed Bitcoin. It doesn't look good. I wouldn't get on one of those rockets. I wouldn't do it. And I think there's too much distractions in the Teslas. They should turn off that screen while you're driving. It's out of control. You can do the fart machine while you're driving. You could do car karaoke while you're driving. He's just trying to kill everyone. But again, they just need to go to Mars. Everyone on Earth. People on Mars, good. People on Earth, bad. Moving on. Check out the WCN Clips channel on YouTube. It's got all the greatest WCN clips from this show and others like it. Will Bitcoin lose to Ethereum? JP Morgan's bashing Bitcoin, but selling it. And Musk is creating a Doge failure? Is it going to go up anymore? Find out at WCN Clips. And be sure to subscribe and share. Thanks so much. Moving on to issue 3. Binance faces probe by U.S. money laundering and tax sleuths. The Justice Department and the IRS seek information about the crypto exchange. The federal agencies haven't accused Binance of wrongdoing. They're just looking into it. Binance has been pretty questionable for a long time. They ran a massive ICO. They were originally based in, I think, Hungary, something like that. They moved to Malta. Then it turned out they didn't really move to Malta. According to this article, they're incorporated in the Cayman Islands, but have an office in Singapore and claim that they lack a single corporate headquarters. That would make them hard to sue. Josh Shigala, your thoughts on Binance and the tax probe? Is this the beginning of the end for the great, magnificent Binance?
No. It's a really interesting company, Binance. I really find them fascinating because they move around. They're very, very liquid. You don't really know where they are. They do run a very good service. They have a very, very good trading platform. It's been fairly SEFU up to now. I'm pretty impressed with what they've done, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, you can say what you want about the cult of personality of CZ and all of this stuff, but I think what will happen is they'll dance around this. If anything happens, they'll maybe give up one or two records, but they can't do what the IRS did to Coinbase, which is basically demand all records. Usually these sorts of companies, what they can do, especially with European laws, are pretty intense. So if they're registered somewhere over here, what usually governments do is they'll basically start to put pressure on the banks that Binance might use, and that starts to force the hand. But the thing is that Binance is so big that other banks are willing to work with them very quickly. It's not like the early days where it's very hard to get a bank on board. Now it's like, oh, you don't want to work with us? All right, well, we'll take our billions somewhere else. So it'll be tricky for the US government. So the thing is, yeah, like I was saying, in Europe, what usually happens is they'll get a court order and they'll go after one particular person, and the court needs to file for that, for the data of that single person. But yeah, being able to just pull all records like they did with Coinbase is probably very, very unlikely.
Binance reminds me of that old Steve Jobs quote: "Why join the Navy when you can be a pirate?" Alejandro, your thoughts on Binance and this attempted investigation?
Well, I don't. Binance's business model is kind of like this blitzkrieg sort of business model. Open up as fast as we can, get as many people as fast as we can, break all the rules, and then worry about it after when we're filthy rich. And it's been working for them. I don't think Mr. CZ will be easily. I don't know what's gonna happen. I just want them to signal for Taproot. That's all I care. So I don't know. I hope them well. I hope whatever it is. But they've done a very good job building their businesses.
You had me at blitzkrieg. World War II to my heart. Martin, your thoughts on Binance?
I was a bit late to the party with Binance. I always thought it was just a shitcoin casino and not a real proper exchange. But I changed my mind some time ago. I found the uptime very good. I even recently got one of those Binance cards, and I'm super impressed. So I hope they will hang around. I do know some people that work there, and they're nice people too, and fairly transparent in in what they do. They do a lot of volume, so that's pretty cool. I recently learned they also do a mining pool. I wasn't even aware of that, so I thought they were only an exchange. So they're pretty huge, and they're forced to be reckoned with. And I think Josh is right. If governments put pressure on them and they'll just and close their bank accounts, they'll just take the money elsewhere, and there will be many banks happy to serve them. So yeah, I did notice recently, we run many of our clients at General Bytes, they run their own server to connect their ATMs to, but some of them run in the cloud. And those clouds are usually hosted in the US because then they're closer to our clients. We did notice that Binance is actively blocking US clients to certain websites. You have to go through another website, a US website, if you want to connect to Binance. So that was causing some issues with the API that was running on the cloud server. So it's interesting to see. They're all playing all these games, and it's interesting to see how it pans out. But I do wish him well. And even though it wouldn't be my first exchange of choice for trading, I was impressed with the nice black stylish cars that actually works very well. So yes, I hope they will succeed. I don't think they will be too impressed with the IRS coming after them, because they just pick up their stuff and go elsewhere.
In many ways, Binance is almost like the perfect Bitcoin company. Like Josh was saying, they'll move jurisdiction to jurisdiction, play them off against each other, keep moving till they have to maybe move to Mars or the moon or something like that. As long as they're one step ahead of the investigators, it's going to keep working. I worry about that. That would stress me out, being one step ahead. Dan, Eve, your thoughts on Binance and the investigation?
Well, maybe this has all been stirred. Well, in fact, it's probably too recent. But the recent Bitcoin fog sort of investigation. Maybe they suddenly thought, right, we've got to come down heavy on these exchanges. Although it does seem like the article mentioned that Binance has been playing ball with US prosecutors for a while. There was like a fentanyl trafficking and ransomware case. They weren't accused of any wrongdoing, and you could kind of infer for that it was arguable that they weren't found to be like negligent or gross negligent. Otherwise, they would have been investigated much sooner. But they have been a company that's tried to play ball. They've tried to do the right thing. I think kudos on the mining pool. Also, the fact that they got the Seifu fund for protecting people's funds. They're kind of transparent when there's like security issues and hacks and stuff. And let's face it, of all the shit tokens that there were out there, Binance it had utility. Like people wanted it for different stuff. I wanted it just for what someone says. I never actually used it for anything, but people were like, I want it for cheap trading fees, and I wanted it to get into an IDO pool, and I wanted it because of this lending rate. So they kind of smashed it in that respect by making it a total Swiss Army knife. And they cut corners in the start. Lots of companies do, and they've probably reached that kind of too big to. I don't want to say it, but too big to fail, status. There's even they were saying Kraken recently that were getting their arm twisted over giving information to the IRS, and I researched this, and I think I'm the first person to potentially chain this term, chain-ala-snitch. You like it? Oh yeah, baby. So chain-ala-snitch obviously have been cozying up to the regulators and also trying to snitch on everyone. I think I'm kind of on Binance's side. I didn't know they had a mining pool till today, and I think that's cool that they're switched on and they're contributing. It's not just about crack coins for them. It's about it seems to me like it's about doing the right thing. Well,
they should contribute a bit more on the mining pool side and activate Taproot.
I agree. Definitely
Signal for Taproot.
So come on, CZ, who definitely won't be watching this, but please someone tell him to.
Well, and just a quick shout out to the audience. We have about 80 people watching now on YouTube because we fixed it and made it public. So if everyone could give us a thumbs up, we didn't get to tell you earlier because we broke the YouTube, but now we've fixed it. So give us a thumbs up, say hello in the chat, and subscribe down below if you haven't been here before. We've done 250 weekly episodes of this show, so it's pretty cool. But moving on to the exit question, will Binance be taken to trial by a major government within 6 months, 3 years, or never? We'll go to Alejandro first. 6 months, 3 years, or never?
3 years.
3 years. 3 years. We've got to start. He could have gone with a safe political answer, just said never. We would have accepted that. Martine, your thoughts? 6 months, 3 years, or never? How long will Binance's luck hold out?
I think within a year. Oh, sorry, that was not an option. So 3 years. That they will have some serious problems, but they will manage. They will move. They will update their IP blocks, and they'll just survive this. There's so many people using it that I don't see them failing anytime soon.
It's both awesome and terrifying. Dan, Eve.
I think they're playing ball enough to with the IP blocking, at least it's showing signs that they're trying. There was stuff in the early days that, people were saying that that Binance were encouraging people to go outside the VPN, but I doubt Binance were themselves. It was probably people just saying, you can get around it. But I think they'll manage to scoop away. Sorry, it's CZ, the digital nomad renegade, will evade the authorities forever.
Turns out CZ might be the real Dread Pirate Roberts. Josh Shigala, your thoughts on Binance? 6 months, 3 years, or never?
I'm going to say with never. The reason being that what they'll do is they'll use the regulations that are slowly solidifying around the world, and they'll build new entities in those world. Those new entities will buy out the crazy pirate entities. They'll be molded in, and they'll say, "Oh, look, we've been regulated the whole time. We just bought this section. This company is companies within companies in this and that. Like it's a really complex structure." The accountants must be going insane, and same with the legal department must be. It's like there's a lot of stuff going on there. But I think that they're clever enough. I mean, the whole Bitcoin business game. Vaultoria, I launched Vaultoria in 2015, and we were building since 2014, and done some other crypto stuff before that. And the whole business along the way has always been regulatory arbitrage, and they've played the regulatory arbitrage game super well. And like Alejandro said, blitzkrieged it, where you just come in, make a whole lot of money, and deal with the regulators later. There's a few ICOs that did the same thing, like the EOS Block one where they just raised 4 billion. And then, you're going to charge us, 25 million? Here you go. Whatevs. So, there's certain people in this space that have managed to play that game pretty well and do it,
I agree with Martine. I think they'll be in trouble within 3 years, but they'll wriggle out of it because they're just so clever. Meanwhile, Josh is the only one who can be hired by CZ. We all have failed. Alejandro, you should have said never. You're so close. Never. All right. Just kidding.
I mean, it's probably going to be never. It's probably going to be never.
There you go. It's still in. You're on never. I changed the list. You changed. You're back in. But no, we like Binance. It's been fun. Like, I agree with Martin. Like, at first we were very questionable as an ICO and all these things, but the service has been there. They've been good for the market. Although I'm always reminded of what they said about Sheep Marketplace, which was one of those after the Silk Road drug markets. And everyone was like, the service at Sheep Marketplace was so great right up until the last weekend when they exit scammed. No service at all after that. But let's move on to the next issue. Issue 4. Colonial Pipeline paid 75 Bitcoin, or roughly $5 million, to hackers. We've all heard of the trouble at Colonial Pipeline. Their system was hacked. They couldn't send gas through the pipelines, thus leading to a potential gas shortage in the United States. Prices are rising. People are allegedly filling up trash bags and laundry containers full of gasoline. All those videos are actually from 2019, so that's fake. But it's nice to pretend that's what the media helps us do whenever they need footage for something. But they did pay to recover their stolen data. They paid $5 million in Bitcoin, roughly 75 Bitcoin. However, according to the information reported here, it looks like the company is still going to restore from backup servers because the tool provided by the hackers was inferior. It was not a good tool and it was too slow. So they paid this money, but they didn't really get anything. It is a good example of ransomware and an issue we talk about all the time. Dan, Eve, is it Bitcoin's fault? Did Bitcoin enable this pipeline to have such bad security for such an important service that they were easily hacked and their data encrypted? Is this all due to Bitcoin?
Well, I'd say it's obviously Bitcoin's fault, and it's obviously the idea of the computer's fault, and then obviously it's electricity's fault. And then if we didn't have humans, it wouldn't have happened. So, we can just take it back to square zero. But ironically, the fiat money actually holds the world to ransom. But we're going to hear the same old arguments that, it's a new tech and it can be used for something just because it makes it better. I mean, there's still ransoms that are happening with cash, because obviously cash is really good for laundering and stuff. There's still lots of techniques, and I've seen them wash it and stuff in the movies, and they literally clean it and hang it on the washing lines in the bathroom of the hotel. All of that stuff. But I think crypto really hasn't hit it until Dogecoin is used for ransom. Until that point, then it's just run of the mill stuff. But obviously, I still get you, and you guys have got to watch out for this too. It's not just Bitcoin talk, but it happened with me but I still get the emails now from from the hacked Bitcoin talk where it says we've got all these nudes of you, and they show you your password, what your password was at the time, and I'm like, I delete it after I've paid them. They still keep coming back. I did make a lot of nudes, but no, obviously ignore any of that sort of stuff because they won't get it. It's just make sure you change your password and stuff. But yeah, it's just a technology upgrade in whatever illegal activity it is, and that's just going to happen with everything. Like it did with the internet, making fraud a lot easier. So, oh well.
That reminds me of a classic Chevy Chase line from Dirty Work. He says, "You know what's funny about bookies? Even after they break your legs, you still owe them the money." Josh Segala, your thoughts on 75 Bitcoin paid to hackers?
The weird thing is that the media is so stupid that they still say, "Ooh, Russians." It's the Russians, or it's and they make it sound like it's a government attacking them when it's really just a very profitable business model. In fact, these ransomwares are so profitable. I mean, it's very unethical, absolutely. But it's these people are so professional that they'll give you helplines and look at these guys. These guys offered to fix their database issues or whatever the hell and give them better software. I mean, look, $5 million is pretty cheap. Little sort of penetration testing costs. I'm seeing a lot of chatter about that governments need to enforce, and this is on also libertarian style news. I'm hearing this where people even in those circles are demanding that government put more regulation on companies to force them to be more secure if they're dealing with large scale infrastructure. But the fact of the matter is that these sorts of attacks are a way to harden infrastructure. As shit as it is, the worst part is when they hit hospitals and things like this. But a pipeline, it's I can't. One thing I also find weird is that you can say, this got hacked, but voting machines totally safe, can't get hacked, totally safe, don't worry about it. Yeah, I mean, they're just anything that's connected to the internet is open to vulnerabilities, and it's not just everything safe. Running a crypto exchange, you gotta be on the ball the whole time. So we know a thing or two about security, and it's extremely hard. And yeah, there are these companies out there that run really critical infrastructure, and they do need to be on top of their game, and they will be eventually ransomed if they aren't on top of it. The funny thing is, some of these places are so old school that they're still running sort of green and black screens and things, because they just haven't upgraded forever. So hackers don't even know how to, code in machine language or something. They have to get in there. But I think it'll just play out where these companies have to keep paying, and ransomware people don't want to make it too much, because then people won't pay, and they usually actually do unlock your data, because they want to be known as, look, if you pay, it does help. It's a weird world, and folks, for those folks that think this is a Bitcoin problem, I'm old enough to remember ransomware before Bitcoin, believe it or not. And there's even an audiobook I was listening to. There's a very famous audiobook called the three question marks, drei Fragezeichen in German, and they talk. I think it's an early '80s audiobook about a ransomware that told them to drop cash in a certain bin or whatever. Of course, Bitcoin makes it a lot safer for that business model on the attacker's side. But yeah, yeah, look, get better at backing up your data, and harden your security.
They used to just include their address. You could send them money at the P.O. box. But I agree with what Josh said. A $5 million penalty for not running Windows Update is actually pretty cheap. They got off light. Although the shutdown on the pipeline, that might cost them a fortune. Alejandro, looks like you've moved from the beach to a undisclosed mining location. What do you think about Colonial Pipeline paying the hackers?
Well, I think that I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I think. I don't know what's going on. I mean, there could be a lot of people say it's not, but I'm sure there's some geopolitical tensions in there somewhere. I know that I read that hacking group, or that group that ransomed the pipeline, immediately shuts off if it scans the computer, and if it finds anything in Russian, or the computer's somehow Russian, it shuts off it by itself. So it doesn't attack Russian language computers, which in itself is interesting. I'm not much about narratives and stuff. I don't care about that stuff, but I think that's interesting. I mean, if you think about it, Russia is also blocking. I mean, the United States is blocking Russia and Germany from their pipeline, Nord Stream 2. So it's kind of funny that all of a sudden now there's some good stuff going on. But that's just me just having a good time. I don't know anything. Yeah, it's well, Bitcoin is the best currency there is, that you can do these things. It's a privacy and focused internet coin that works wonderful for legitimate use cases, and sometimes not so legitimate, but it works exactly as it is intended to do so.
It is great for testing all these obscure servers. We get to really see if the security is up to snuff now. It's a competition everywhere. Martin, your thoughts on the Colonial Pipeline hack?
Unfortunately, I think this is the sign of things to come. I don't know about the political background in this, but it's a business model, and as you guys said, they have perfect customer service. They help you. They're responsive. They're usually better customer service than your cable company. So there's definitely the business model there, and cryptocurrency is not the one to blame. It's just a sign. It's historically known that utility companies in general, so not just the pipeline oil company, but also electricity companies and phone companies have terrible security records. They're more focused on just keeping stuff running than they are on protecting it. And this is just the type of business. And I've seen this before, smart meters that allow to can be hacked, stuff like that. And phone companies that don't really protect any data. I mean, just look at how easy it is to do a SIM swap. Still, even after all those people got SIM swapped, you can still do SIM swaps quite easily. I think it's just Bitcoin just makes it easier. And if they would have been clever, they would have asked for Zcash or Monero, but no, they asked for Bitcoin. So I guess
I think they asked for Monero or Bitcoin.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was interesting that they paid in Bitcoin, because they're obviously thinking, well, then we can follow it a little bit easier.
Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense.
Chain analysis.
How do you move so much money? Like everyone's watching that address. Like, I wonder how hard it must be to move.
I think you
Bitcoin
send it to a mixer.
But it's still chain analysis is able to pick up every mix. Their tech is really good.
You mix it, and you mix it in small batches. You send it to some decentralized exchanges.
Yeah.
The
other thing is the courts, like law, works with the concept of a shadow of a doubt. And the thing that mixers do, even though you know pretty much that this is that person through chain analysis, there's still the shadow of a doubt. Well, are you 100% sure, or is there a shadow of a doubt? Well, there's a shadow. Well, then the whole thing's thrown out.
I also think
Good
from
point.
the hacker
Good
perspective,
point.
you might just want to wait until the laws change, until the climate changes. Maybe there's a country that becomes a Bitcoin criminal haven, and you can just go there and suddenly cash out all of your hacks.
North
It's
Korea.
probably difficult to keep the crew together, and I don't know how you pay the other hackers and all
I'm
of
sure
that.
you can. I'm sure you can probably. This is me speculating, but I'm sure you probably can fly to North Korea right now and sell Bitcoin if you're really. I wouldn't recommend it, but I'm sure that someone
I'll
would buy it.
wait for a place with a beach.
But I'm just speculating. I don't want to talk about it. It's my opinion. It's not financial advice.
This isn't criminal advice.
This isn't criminal advice. It's just me playing around, having a good time. It's a joke.
If you like that, you're gonna love the exit question. Exit question. They've just hacked a gasoline pipeline. What can they hack next? What's bigger than a gasoline pipeline that the hackers can take down for ransom? Dan, Eve, name something bigger.
Disney World.
Disney World.
All
of the things start talking and they start cursing. Huge hacker.
Unless they also pay. Disney would have to pay paying NFTs. They would have to pay like NFT of Pluto and NFT of Mickey and Minnie and all that.
They killed Mickey, the bastards.
You killed Mickey, you bastards.
Even better than getting the Disney bucks is getting the NFTs. Let's go to Josh Sigala. What will they hack that's bigger than a pipeline?
Elon's next rocket launch.
I was going to say that too, but it's kind of like wishful thinking. I just hope they're safe with it and they crash it in a safe area and that it doesn't damage the environment. Maybe they could crash it somewhere outside of the environment into another environment. Something like that might work.
That's the front fell off. That's the front fell off, isn't it?
I watched a great documentary about that guy recently. It's fantastic. Clark and Dawes. Martine, your thoughts? What will they hack that's bigger? Not giving them any ideas, just suggestions.
I think the next thing, or one of the next things, will be a large-scale hack of smart meters, because those meters, they're very smart, but they don't serve any smart purpose for the person paying for the electricity. It's just the electricity company. And they've been rolled out at such a high speed everywhere. And there's just a few brands. So it only needs one vulnerability that is like a 0-day vulnerability in one model of the meters. And you can like switch off an entire country and just switch off all the electricity. And just make sure that you keep it switched off, like, send the off command like 60 times per minute or something, so that even if they switch it back on, it will be switched off again. So I think this will be very realistic. It's also the reason I rejected a smart meter in my home.
Hacking the electrical grid. It's getting like super genius, evil genius around here. Alejandro, you don't have to give any advice, but what will they hack next?
None of this was advice. I was just having a good time. Just oh my god. It's probably you can. I think hacking the PlayStation network would be a good one.
PlayStation could be good. Do a lot of beefing, knock those guys offline. I'm gonna go. I'll follow what Josh said. I thought the rockets would be good, but let's go further. Let's hack Elon Musk's personal Tesla and be very safe with him. Don't hurt him, but just make it do fart sounds all the time. It already makes fart sounds, but just really, really hit him with the fart sounds. I think it'd be fun, and of course, film it because we'd love to see that. But again, don't hurt anybody. Don't hack anything negative. But interesting question, interesting thing to think about. At home, you guys could write into the chat. What do you think they'll hack next? And don't go and do it. Don't make us look bad. Just hack something else. I want everyone to check out this tweet by Alejandro. We've got this on the Mad Bitcoins Twitter and on World Crypto Network. If everyone could just retweet this and ask BTC Top to activate Taproot. We've got 20 retweets, 21 retweets on this already. But if you guys could just join in, go to Mad Bitcoins or World Crypto Network on Twitter, and let's try to activate Taproot. Let's do something.
Can you post it in the chat?
Yep, we'll post it in the chat here, and it's on the Twitters. But I think we're running out of issues. Just remind everyone once again to go to WCN Clips and to start sharing these clips and subscribing. And this is a great way to spread the word about the show. We've also got shop.worldcryptonetwork.com, where you can get World Crypto Network t-shirts and the Treasures Don't Float mug and the Hal Finney shirt, all kinds of great stuff at shop.worldcryptonetwork.com. And obviously, if you buy stuff there, it benefits us. But it's also good just to give us a thumbs up and to subscribe down below. That's a great way to help us out. We're going to go towards predictions or story of the week. Martine, are you ready with a prediction or a story of the week?
Price prediction, I really don't know. It's a bit scary to do any price predictions, but story of the week is that we launched our partner program on General Bytes recently, and we have a massive influx of new users at the everytrade.io accounting app. Maybe because people are doing the taxes and they have to report it, or maybe they're just curious how much is left of their Doge and Bitcoin holdings after Elon Musk tweeted. I don't know, but numbers are going up through the roof. So, and it's free, so and it's easy to get a lot of users if the service is free. So that was my story of the week. If people want to check it out, they can check it out at everytrade.io. And if people have a website and they want to promote a service, we are giving like $1 for every sign up. So if you have a website with a lot of users, go to partners.generalbytes.com. Okay, that's all. Shameless pimp this time. Sorry.
And you're running out of time to pay your taxes. You still got a chance, I think. I forget the day, but you're running out of time. We've got 24 retweets. Let's keep retweeting that. Come on. Dan Eve. Prediction or story of the week. Go ahead.
Well, I am going to predict that Bitcoin, because I'm ever the optimist. So Bitcoin is going to go up, and my prediction, and I think this is, given all the events we've discussed recently, I think this is actually one that's quite likely to happen. Unlike Greta suddenly going for Bitcoin like previous ones. I know there's a bit out there, but okay. So my prediction is that Tesla gets hacked and the ransom demand must be paid in Dogecoin.
Oh, poor Elon. His only love turns into his only hate. A real Romeo and Juliet situation there. Also, since Dan mentioned it, we'll go ahead and predict the price of Bitcoin for you. I know a lot of you guys like to read charts and that kind of thing, but we have our own predictor ball right here that is always right. So will the price of Bitcoin be higher this time next week? Got to shake it if you really want it to work. It says most likely. So there it is. Bet the house, bet the wife, bet the kids. You're all ready. Josh Shigala, do you have a prediction or a story of the week? Go ahead.
No, I mean, really, the story of the week is that we've been cranking out the articles on Vaultoro.com/learn to help the noobs in the space. Really, we've got lots of articles as beginner tags because I just kept on getting really newbie questions, and I think they're the ones most vulnerable in this space to dodgy schemes and investing in Doge when they just really shouldn't be at all-time highs just because Elon's going on SNL or some crap. So these articles are really good, very well. There's a lot of effort being put into them. And so, yeah, I appreciate it. Check it out on Vaultoro.com/learn. And yeah, that's my news.
All right, I put out another tweet. That's how much I want you to retweet this. I put out 2 tweets now. Alejandro, do you have a prediction or a story of the week? Go ahead.
Prediction is, stack your sats, dollar cost averaging, right? You know how to buy all the Bitcoin in the world. You can just buy some slowly. So don't worry too much about the price. Think of it a long term. If you're new and you look at it from the past, if you would have just taken a long-term point of view with Bitcoin, you would have been doing well. So that's probably going to continue forward. In my opinion, it will. Story of the week, we have synthetic mining now at Poolin. So we have tokenized hash rates, Bitcoin tokenized hash rate. We just released a new patch of tokenized hash rate, you can easily mine with these. These represent 1 terahash of a real ASIC mining computer. So it's the easiest way to get into mining, and it's straightforward. So if you want to look into that, check out mars.poolen.fi. Thanks.
Awesome.
Also, Alejandro, we have to make you do a forced prediction. When will Taproot activate? So like 1 week, 2 weeks, months. What do you want to go with?
I think in 3 to 4 weeks.
All right.
3 to 4 weeks, pretty good. And we don't have to split into 2 coins, and half the people don't have to leave.
No. None of that's gonna happen. Trust me. You can leave it on me. I'll take care of it.
Sounds fantastic. I'm looking forward to it. It's much better than the last time we upgraded Bitcoin. That was way too hard.
Yeah. You know, this also helps with a lot of post-traumatic stress disorder that we all have from last soft fork. Yeah, that was heavy.
We can't do an upgrade unless I have to buy a hat and put stuff in my Twitter handle.
I was thinking of making a hat miner activated soft fork. What do you think about that?
I'd buy it. Shut up and take my money.
That would be interesting. Instead of the military style of the UASF, you could do some kind of a peace-themed hat.
Yeah, like some like peace sign in the back, maybe some like rainbows and shit.
Yeah, like the peace symbol, like hippie stuff. Like yeah.
USF, dude. Someone's making some reaper in the background.
No problem. Yeah. Sounds great. Well, now it's on you. You got to get us a hat. We look forward to it. Right, so thanks to everybody for watching. Thanks for giving us the thumbs up. Be sure to go retweet that tweet. It's not too late, even if you're watching later. I think we had about 80 people watching live. I don't know. The Elon Musk story is pretty popular. People like Dogecoin. But
I just want one honorable mention. Sorry for this week. I'm sure you guys must have heard of it, but it's obviously with Elon and the rise of Dogecoin became the saga of like the copy paste ERC20 like Shibu coin and Shibu Kishu, all of these different names.
Yeah, that was pretty fun, Dan. Tell us what happened. Just if people haven't heard of it, there was a Shiba Inu coin, and I heard they trusted something like 50% of their issuance with Vitalik Buterin, Satoshi Nakamoto, the Invisible Man, but Vitalik Buterin, like a person we've met, a person who exists in the world. How did that go for them, Dan?
Well, I think so that they even gave their liquidity pool tokens, I think, from Uniswap. And so basically Vitalik got a bit fed up with it all and like liquidated the lot and donated $1 billion to the India COVID relief fund, which is pretty much boss man level, you've got to say. For he was accumulating shit. $1 billion
in Shiba Inu.
$1 billion.
And even after some other one called or something. Apparently there was
Akita,
Dogecoin copies that trusted their money with Vitalik because I don't know why. I can't imagine they had a reason. But
what do you mean trusted their money with Vitalik?
They literally sent him their tokens instead of burning them. They were like, they sent them to Vitalik.
Instead of burning them, they just sent them to Vitalik. And
Vitalik just dumped them all, man.
Yeah, because he doesn't care about that. But I do think that if the Indian COVID relief funds tries to cash in on those shit coins, the value will like dump to zero or something, because there's just so much of them, like 50% of all the tokens generated.
Well, again, the guy just sees all the angles. He's probably getting a tax write-off for donating the $1 billion, but when they try to cash it, it'll be like $1 million. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's still in the top like 50. It's 26. It just came out of nowhere because of the whole Elon thing, Elon Gate, and then that completely crashed him out. There was the other coins that did it as well. They gave their liquidity pool tokens. That it was just like a complete wave. He just went with that. Savage.
It was hilarious to watch too. The screenshots on Twitter. In their little chat rooms, they were always saying, "Who is Vitalik?" They hadn't even heard. I mean, he's pretty well known, I think. And the really smart ones, though, the smart ones got on Twitter right away, and they were like, "This is good. We just donated $1 billion to Indian COVID relief. Let's wave this flag. The Inu coin is a positive thing. This is even better than giving $1 million to $1 billion to Vitalik, who already has lots of billions of dollars." So it's a great line from The Simpsons.
The circulating supply of Shiba Inu hardly fits on the coin market cap. It's like I don't even know what that number is. I think it's trillion.
Yeah, there's some of them like I think Kishu's like 100 quadrillion. There's like hardly, like they can't even fit the numbers on the page. They're just everywhere.
I think
they're popping up everywhere.
I heard something about why Satoshi picked 21 million is because it was like the last number that you could do before they start putting that E thing and all the like exponent thing that you have to start doing the math, and that would still look nice, something like that. But I was reminded here, of course, that you could trust Vitalik of that great quote from The Simpsons where Homer is trying to give away Lisa's elephant, and he says, or Bart's elephant, and Homer says, we can trust this guy because he has a lot of ivory, as opposed to another man whose ivory supplies are insufficient. It was great. But I think we've gone a little too long today. So thanks again to everybody for watching. Be sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe down below. I have a lot of interviews that I've done, but I haven't edited. So I hope to get those out and start scheduling some regular interview content on here again. So thanks so much for watching. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.